What's up, you guys? I'm here with a new video today, and we're here to talk about a very cool topic here on the channel now that something really, spectacular and amazing has happened. And that whole situation has been, that's right, the return of Elemental Hero Stratos. Do we even want to talk about how long it's been since this card was legal? I believe it's at least been 5 years. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. 5 years have passed since we last went Summon Stratos effect. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. I think the craziest thing that happened with Elemental Hero Stratos coming to 1 is that it basically made the ban list. It literally made the ban list something. And I say that because I know there were a lot of, hits on this list, but a lot of people did not agree with, some of the choices. They thought that a lot of decks were left out. And they also felt that, there's so much more that could have been done. While I agree with this, I feel that Stratos coming back, kind of like threw people for a loop, but in a good way. I feel it did things that a lot of, players were not expecting. Now, granted, OCG, I believe, has 2 copies of this, so it's very different over there. And, of course, we did get Elemental Hero Stratos. Unfortunately, we lost 2 copies of Hero Lives. But, I mean, outside of that, they, they followed through, and after all these years, finally freed Stratos. The meme was dead. And, now what we're going to talk about here today in this video is, now that Elemental Hero Stratos is back, what impact is it going to have? What is it going to do for the meta? What is it going to do for certain decks? And is the hype real? Is this card coming back really made a big difference? This is actually my favorite version of Stratos, the DT one. I love DT cards. I don't know if people know that, but this was one of the DT3 Stratos, and I just absolutely love it. So this is my Stratos of choice. But we're going to talk about that. I actually put a poll up in the community tab asking you guys what you thought. Now that Stratos is back, what impact is it going to have? And I'm going to actually use your guys' points as kind of like a point of reference just to, clear some things up. I think that a lot of people are just overly excited that Stratos is back. They don't think about, its implications in the meta. So I'm just going to go with what a lot of people said. I'm just going to go by just some of the simple stuff. So what they would do is they would just say that now that it's back, one thing it does is it does add to Azulde and Warriors in general, because the hero deck is going to be interesting, because being able to play Azul, being able to play Stratos, being one of the best starters in the game is crazy. I think that a lot of people forgot about that this is the original summon and get a plus card. And I think it's been so long that, everyone is like, oh, but there's so many cards that do that. Candina, Skullcrobat, Joker, etc., etc. Yeah, but Stratos started it all. Stratos has 2 effects too. Summon, you don't even have to search. You can pop back row, so there's that option too. One thing that I think was rightfully said is that, Goki is going to try to do something with this. They are able to abuse Mali and Armageddon Knight. And another thing you can do is that you can use, depending on, your build, you're able to use, E-Call to search Stratos, Rhoda to search Stratos, etc. And I think that's pretty cool that Stratos really became, it's kind of going to become like a staple in these decks, and I think that's pretty cool. Another thing people were saying is that since Stratos, is at 1, thank God Hero Lives is at 1, because everyone has talked about it. There is a 1-card extra link with Hero Lives. I don't know what it is. I don't play Gokis or anything like that. I'm sure it probably involves Stratos and Mali and all these crazy things, and, I'm assuming that that's how it goes. But, I mean, outside of that, I think the fact that they had to hit Hero Lives says a lot. It means we could not have Stratos back with 3 Hero Lives. I mean, if we did, it'd be insane. People are thinking, oh, but you got to pay 4,000 life points. It doesn't matter if you're extra linking your opponent and just winning the next turn. It really doesn't. Now, granted, of course, you can always ash that or ash this, but, it's pretty crazy. I think a lot of people remember that, and they also think, oh, Stratos is back, I can deal with it. It's not, you see, the thing with Stratos is not an unbeatable card. I feel like it definitely, is, people think it's overpowered. It's really not that overpowered. Its plus is great. The fact that you can use it, call upon other cards to bring it back, and, just do stuff with that. I think what really makes this card shine is the fact that it says when it's normal or special summon. One thing we actually didn't do for this card, my bad, you guys, we didn't actually read its effect. I'm sure you guys know its effect by now. It's a warrior, level 4 effect monster. It's a wind type monster, 1800 attack, 300 defense. Its effect reads when this card is normal or special summoned, which I think is just like the kicker, if it's normal or special summon, so you can use revival cards to get its effect. You can select and activate one of the following effects. Destroy spell or trap cards on the field up to the number of elemental hero, destiny hero, evil hero monsters you control, not counting this card. So it does not count. That is the one thing it does not count. So you can't summon it and just pop a back row. That'd be a little too broken. But if you use cards like Bubble Man or Destiny Hero, Malicious, or anything like that, yeah, you can clear the way for back row and you can hit multiple sometimes, you know, depending on how many you have. It's like a mini heavy storm. The other option, like the main thing, is you can add one elemental hero, destiny hero, or evil hero monster from your deck to your hand. Now, I know, again, a lot of people are going to think, oh, that's so underwhelming, but no, no, it's not. Not when Malicious is a target, not when you have cards like Bubble Man, etc. to play decks like Hero and stuff like that. Another thing that'll happen is that masked heroes are going to be like more of a, I believe, like a rogue deck that people are going to try to play. I mean, you just summon this, you get, you know, you can get your Vion, you can get your Shadow Mist, depending on what, you know, your hand is and what your play is going to be. But this card will definitely facilitate you on your way to making Dark Law, etc. And I think that's really strong. Plus, you know, as long as you don't banish your Stratos, you know, you just keep bringing it back with revival cards, you keep popping back row. I think this in conjunction with Dark Law is pretty scary because it becomes like a Cosmic Cyclone you don't pay 1,000 for. Like if you call Haunted this back, Dark Law is on the field, it banishes the card. So that's just a cool little, I guess, like cool little niche interaction with Stratos that I really like. Another thing is that one deck I personally really like, if you guys want to know the truth, is I love Bubble Beat, the old school Bubble Beat deck. Now, those of you that aren't familiar, you know, it was basically summon Stratos, get a Bubble Man, you know, set your hand or use cards like Night Beam, MST. This was before Twin Twister, and you just popped all the back row. Then you specialed Bubble Man, and then you exceeded into either Excalibur or, what is that card? Or, let's see, there was Excalibur, there was, it was a ninja card, it'll come to me, but, yeah, it was like a ninja warrior card. Basically, you know, you detached it and it would, it could attack twice. And then the same thing with Gigaga Samurai. This was actually before Gigaga Samurai as well, so that was like an old school way of winning. You basically cleared the back row and then just OTK'd your opponent because you go Stratos, get a Bubble Man, special Bubble Man, you know, do that. Detach for the effect, flip Call the Haunted, play like a Reborn card, bring it back, you know, do it again, and you know, you make 2 XYZs. This was all before Master Rule 4, then you just punch for game. Very fun, actually. I actually really enjoyed the deck. I believe it actually won a YCS in Costa Rica, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, this was years ago, you guys, but yeah, Stratos was insane, so that was actually one of my favorite builds. I know Heroes have like a new build. They have, what is it? They have a Solid Man, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, the level 4, the one that replaces Goblinberg, so that's very cool. If you check out my brother Sam's channel, he's got a hero build I think you guys will really like. I think another thing that's really cool with Stratos being back in 1 is that we got one copy of Super Poly, and I know a lot of you are thinking, is that going to have an impact? Yeah, it will. There are generic fusion cards like Mud Dragon that you can use to, you know, just abuse Super Poly, and Super Poly will become more like an OTK card and a card that just, you know, plays around every card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because you can't respond to the card. So I think that's really crazy, and I think that a lot of people are forgetting that, is that even though we lost Hero Lives, you do have 3 E-Call, you do have Rhoda, and you do have the ability to play Super Poly in your deck, so I think that's very cool. Other impacts, I think especially, like, before we wrap up this video, is I think we really need to pay attention to Goki, because I feel like they'll be able to use this card. You know, I'm not 100% sure if every list is going to play it. I think that Armageddon Knight being the stronger summon is really good, but I could also see where they might want to use this to search out Malicious. I don't actually know. Like, Goki players would have to tell me if that's what you're going to do. But I think the option is there, you know, since you can play a Hero Lives and bring this out, if that's how your build goes, or depending on if you're, what version of the deck you're playing, if you're trying to Gumblaw or Extra Link, etc. If you're trying to do both, I don't know, that deck can do everything. But overall, I think it's very cool that this card is back. I would love to see like a Gemini Hero strategy come back, like the one Gio Orlando played back in Long Beach, where it's like Stratos, Neos Alias, you know, Thunder Kings, like a bunch of just like simple stun monsters, and then you know, good spells to get to what you need, and then a bunch of traps to just, you know, back up and protect your monsters. But yeah, overall, I think it's awesome that Stratos is back. I'm all for it. Do I ever think this card can come back to more than 1? I mean, if I look at it like, if the OCG can do it, maybe we can do it, but to be honest, I think that's a little too overpowering. When you think of it, having multiple Stratos is kind of nuts, so I think it's pretty crazy, and this card is not once per turn. People who don't realize this card is not once per turn, so yeah, I think that's what's kind of nuts about this card too. But yeah, overall, it's amazing to have Stratos back. I think that, you know, it's been so long coming. I think when I was watching Farfa's channel, he said it best. This card's been banned longer than he's been playing. Think about that, you guys. A lot of players never got to play with Stratos. I, fortunately, was someone who got to play with Stratos back in the Dark Arm Return, anything with Stratos I got to play. Electrum OTK, that was a really cool deck. There were all kinds of decks you could play, and yeah, I think it's nuts that the card is back, but I gladly welcome it back. And I'd just like to know in the comments below, what do you feel is going to happen now that Elemental Hero Stratos is back at 1? Do you feel heroes are going to be on the rise again? Do you feel Goki are going to use this card? Do you feel there are any other decks that are really going to use this card? I think it's awesome the card's back. I think that, you know, it's long overdue, and I think it'll be interesting. This is an iconic card in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I feel that now that they've released it, we'll be able to see what, you know, the card can truly do, and I think it's awesome to just have back in the game. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. 50 plus likes would be awesome. Let me know that you enjoyed the discussion. If there's any other cards you want me to talk about on the ban list, you know, the cards that were banned will eventually make it onto our why this card was banned list. You know, playlist that we have going on all the videos, and you know, a lot of them are obvious, like Goblin Evoker, stuff like that, but I think it's crazy, you know, after all these years. I actually was going to make a why Elemental Hero Stratos was banned video, and now I don't have to, because now Stratos came back, so I thought I'd just do kind of the opposite and talk about, now that it's back, what impact will it have here on our current meta. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your personal thoughts on Stratos, and let me know any other discussion I'd like to see here on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.